And we are live. Hi, everybody. Welcome to tonight's Empowerment Through Intuition, where we are talking about the grandeur and the mystery of drumming. I am Nora Truscello, two-time best-selling author on intuition, and I am with my phenomenal partner, Christine Gerganis. Want to say something for us, Chris?
Hi guys, I'm Chris from Conversations with Chris. How y'all doing? I'm a psychic, a medium, a healer, and I think,
Oh, man, nice guy.
yeah, I do it all.
So tonight we wanted to talk to you about, hi Sid, thanks for joining us, um, about drumming, because it is something that both Chris and I have experience in. We know shamans who use it. We find it utterly fascinating and quite rewarding. So as long as you got your prayers of protection in, there's no reason why you can't do it. So Joy, Linda, Aaron, Rebecca, Melissa, thanks guys for all joining us. Please remember, hit that share button right now. Let's make sure your friends know what's going on. And Chris, do you want to start off with something? Or would you like me
Sure.
to? Go ahead, you do it.
Um, so when Nora told us that we were going to do drumming, we talked about it, and I thought, okay, I'll call the Indian chief, and he'll talk to the shaman, and we'll get it right from the horse's mouth. What's going on with these drums, and why do they use them so much? So I talked to the Indian chief, and he is a real life Indian chief. I just don't use his name because I protect his identity. Um, and he talked to his shaman, and I asked him, so what's the theory, the underlying Native American theory about why do we use drumming? And he said that in their belief system, that it's a core energy. The drumming represents the heartbeat and the heartbeat of the mother and the Mother Earth. And when somebody starts drumming in a native rhythmic way, he said it has to be rhythmic. He said it's not like when we're doing a war dance or, we're doing a challenge of some kind. He says then the beat's different. He said when it's rhythmic and it reaches the soul and the spirit, then what happens is it mirrors the soul inside of the person remembers its journey and its reason, and it identifies with its mother, and it realizes, okay, calm down. I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be doing this. It's okay. Everything's okay. And it brings them a sense of peace. Now, I've journeyed with more modern shamans, and we've used the drums to do one-on-one drumming and to do the journeying. And it's helped in a lot of ways where you reach, the alpha state where your body relaxes and can actually float out of itself, and you can go on a journey, and the spirit guides will take you wherever it is they think they need to take you, and they'll show you whatever they need to show you, whatever your intent was when you went down for the journey. And the shamans will ask you, what's your intent for this journey? And you just keep thinking about it, and you say, this is what I really need to know about, and this is why I'm journeying. And it could be something that's on the surface for you right now, but it might have a really high resonation in your soul about why this is happening.
Okay, I want to jump in with just one little piece. Everybody thinks drumming is strictly American Indian, and it's not. This is worldwide. Chris knows that. That's why she's shaking her head no, like, yeah, of course not. But a lot of people think, oh, well, drumming is American Indian. If you look anything up online, it's all this American Indian stuff. It is worldwide. It is across cultures. And I'm actually hoping that for a few minutes we have a professional percussionist come on, Joseph Tayoun, who's a cousin of mine who is just world-renowned percussionist, teachers and stuff. So he can share a little bit about, he's trying to log in. He's like between classes and practice, and of course he teaches. So hopefully he'll jump in and share a little bit of his experience using Middle Eastern drumming. So I just want to throw that out there.
Well, there's also there's Middle Eastern, there's
Mhm.
Buddhist drums, there's the Chinese use it. Um,
Obviously, Africa uses it. I mean, it's
African drumming is very spiritual to them.
powerful, very powerful.
Right.
They just like the Haitians. I mean, they literally go into a trance with the drumming, and
Hmm. And even
it's
if you look at the Caribbean,
yeah.
all the Caribbean, they have the steel drums that sound very tinkly, and then they have the drums that almost sound like the African drums. So it just depends what part of the world you look at.
But all of them will move you in
Hmm.
so many ways. It's you don't even have to be listening to something that's attached to your culture per se, or
Right.
something you're used to. Like I could be, I mean, I have no connection to Africa per se, but listening to the drums, it's like will move me just as if I was listening to, say, American Indian drumming, which is how I've done shamanic traveling and uh here and there, you know.
Journeying.
Journeying, that's the word. Yeah, guys. By this time of day, I'm usually asleep. So if I'm a little slow with my vocabulary, that's why.
I just help you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But drumming actually causes an altered state, whether you intend it or you don't intend it. It's that rhythmic portion that just brings you right down. It brings the anxiety level right down. And there's some studies out there that show, there's one I'm looking at by Dr. Quinn, PhD. He says that even a brief drumming session can double the activity of the alpha brain waves. And that brings the alphas, the happy, feely ones. The betas are like worry and concentration. So we all want to be alpha. Like, and that's kind of the euphoria, the well being, the cradle me, rock me, put me to sleep kind of feeling. And that's where you want to go. And most people, if they can just tune their body into that meditative state, even for a few minutes, you can go there. Nora uses it whether she realizes it or not in her morning meditations, but it's not in the force of drumming. She uses like a meditative sound of her voice, and that brings everybody down. And she brings in a spiritual component, and
I
that's
like
what
to
the
think I
drums do.
bring you all up. She could say, but I know what she's trying to say. But those of us who do it with me understand.
Bring your
In fact,
anxiety down.
I just got to say, it's too funny. Rebecca commented, "Are you back in your body, Nora?" This morning, I was out there, baby. It was a bit to get back in.
She was floating around the universe, hoping that she could get back in.
Excuse me. I got to say hi to some of you guys. This is so great. And if I missed you, I'm sorry because there's so many of you today. Sid, Gina, Mary Lou, Melissa, Linda, Renee, Christina, Dave, Brittany, Andrea. But Melissa has a really great question. Is there a difference between journaling and astral travel? And 100% yes. Um, Astral travel, your spirit is lifting up, going and leaving. In journeying, you're bringing more of astral travels more of your spirit body is moving forward. In journeying, your mental body and your spiritual body are moving within your physical body to find a place, and then it kind of moves into the earth. And journeying isn't, I never journeyed like outside of the earth realm. Have you?
No, and I
Yeah.
understand what you're trying to say. Journeying is more directed towards exactly what your intent is. Astro traveling is like, woohoo, we're out and we're gone. And you could be out in the angels with a flood. You could be out seeing, mom and pop. You could be visiting somebody's house. But journeying, it's the soul and the spirit and the body working together to cohabitate together for a period of time in
To
a really
accomplish a goal.
high vibration to get you to process whatever it is you asked about. because you have to bring it in through the spirit, you have to bring it into the mind, and then your soul has to resonate it. And if you don't have all three of those components working together, your journey's not going to mean a lot. Whereas
Well,
astro traveling to me is just like, hey, how are you doing? Come on, St.
yeah,
Michael, let's
let's go
go.
play. Let's go peeping Toming on people. Um, Shauna,
I
welcome
get
back,
sent to
honey.
work. She gets to go peeping Tommen. I get to go clean up, like hurricane sites.
We got a little Texas going here. Shauna back with us.
Hi,
Aaron says,
Shauna.
drum and flutes usually bring meditation to a different level. My art can reflect it too. True, very true. And I'll tell you, I would love to be able to play a drum beat because it creates that alpha that Chris was talking about, that the Michael Thought, the director of the music, talks about. And there are CDs out there that focus on the drumming to bring you into this journeying. So they start at the alpha, then they pick up the beat to bring you into the theta, and then they lower it back down again as you're coming out of it. And it's all by the sound of the drums, how rapidly it's going, as to what stage your mind moves into. And they're really, some of them are very good. Some of them are very good. Others are, it's hit or miss. I don't want to recommend anyone because I really haven't used any in so long. I couldn't say which ones I really liked.
But a lot of times, if you go online, you can listen to a portion of them for free. And you can just, decide which one hits you like, oh, I like that one. Or no, that one sounds too harsh. So go on and energy test it like we showed you.
Hmm.
Come on, guys. No. Yes.
Yes.
No. Yes. So that's all you have to do is sit there in your chair and do yes and no's all day. And you can build your collection of spiritual music.
Definitely. 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 That's great. Another thing is they've done a lot of research. Excuse me, I keep scratching my eyes because they're itchy. Allergies. Dr. Bittman, who's a cancer research doctor, they said that they found with drumming that the cells that go out, the cancer fighting cells, actually increase when their patients get to listen to drumming sessions, or especially if they get to participate in a drumming session. So it's not just a spiritual, it's a physical manifestation of change when we participate with this.
Well, I was doing a little bit of research with it and looking through some of my shamanic books and some of my texts and wondering, okay, what's the bottom line here? Why should we drum? And I know in my head why we should drum. Spiritually, I got it. But to put it out there so everybody understands, it was a little bit harder. So the summary that I got was it brings us into alignment with a feeling of connectedness, of not just being connected to self, but to the universal flow and to people around us. Because if you think about our lives are so electronic these days, and a lot of people are individuals living by themselves, or they don't feel connected because things are coming so fast, like text messages and phone calls and emails, and everything's just moving at the speed of light. And you don't really get a chance to sit with your own energy anymore.
Okay, give me a second. I want to see if I can get Joey in here. I know he's here and I'm trying to unmute him. Joe, don't go anywhere. I don't know why it's saying you're muted. Come on, we got to make this work. All right, so Chris is going to answer some of the questions while I try to figure out how to get my guest on who's calling in. Joey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yay, guys, I want you
Yay!
to meet Joseph Tayoun, the famous percussionist I was telling you all about. And all kidding aside, check him out on YouTube or check him out. Just put him into Google. The stories that come up are amazing. He is my cousin, I am very proud to say. And I invited him on, like I said earlier in the show, we were hoping he would come on to share with us what it means to what does it mean to the people he drums with? Because I know he drums with a lot of inner city kids as well as very wealthy people in rehab centers, and how it spiritually and mentally makes a difference. So Joey, it's all yours.
Well, thanks, Cuz. It's great to see you here and be here on your show. I appreciate it. Hello, Christine.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. This is awesome. I love what my cousin does with this show. I get, is it a show? Can I say show?
Yeah, we're a
Sure.
show. We're a Facebook show.
Yeah. So, and it's an honor to be here. And I'm really glad you guys are talking about drumming because, first of all, drumming is it's how I make my living, actually. But it's way more than that. And like my cousin said, I do drum with many different people. I drum from pre-kindergarten all the way up to 70 to 90-year-olds at, like you said, an upscale retirement home. And we do that twice a month. I was just there earlier today with my 70 to 90-year-olds. So I see the whole range of humans as they drum. And of course, I have a lot of insights. I think I have a lot of doctoral theses that could be created on some of these observations. But I know
I already hear co-author a book with Joe. Go ahead, honey.
Let's go, cuz we got the name. Anyhow, so I know you guys are kind of talking about the spiritual implications of drumming. There's so much out there. I know you talked about stuff on the internet. All you have to do is Google drumming and the brain. And I'll just talk about this really quick, and then I'll talk about some other things. Well, if you do that, you'll find that some of the latest research in brain research, the latest brain research out there, they're showing that, and this is one of the reasons why I'm working with kids, severely emotionally disturbed kids right now, is because this one psychologist, he's one of the foremost child psychologists, Dr. Jeff Fried, and he's the head psychologist at Warwick House, which is a residential home for kids that have been taken out of their homes that I go to once a week. Anyhow, the reason he hired me, and we had met years before, and then he called me up and he said, this is the research. And it's just alternating motions, right, left, right, left, right, left, alternating, repetitive, right, left motions. Instantaneously strengthen your corpus callosum, which is the bundle of nerves that connects to your right and left hemisphere. So it gives you more options and more pathways for those two sides to communicate. You want to talk about intuition, this is how your brain needs to communicate like this and be unhindered by, whatever obstacles. Anyhow, so he said these kids need what you do. So that's number one. You can also Google drumming in the brain and find that this is what I tell people a lot. I like to tell these two stories, these findings. Number one, they have put people in a drum circle and have, what they do is they put heart monitors on them. And there's a magic time when you're drumming, like a certain length of drumming time. Usually that's 10 minutes or more when you're continuously drumming. That's when the magic starts to happen. It's and you can get into what they call the zone. That's why musicians play. We get into this thing. You're almost out of your body at certain points. However, so when you drum for that period of time, now they've monitored the heart rates. And at a certain point, everybody's heart rate is beating at exactly the same time.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. To me, it's magical. But it's nothing new under the sun because humans have been doing this for thousands of years.
Exactly.
It's called entrainment. When you entrain with each other, you can get it at a nightclub with that heavy pulse of the rhythm. And people get into these things where they're almost in a trance. You can see it in native populations talking about being a shaman. They use drumming to get you into rhythms. Anyhow, they've also monitored their brain waves. And people go into something I think it's referred to as an alpha state. It's like kind of a sleep but awake state.
Right. We would
and
just
then the
talk
brain
about
waves, then their brain waves become identical.
Right.
So this is what the magic. Now, if you want to talk about physiology, there's some physiology, but it doesn't take any of the mystery out of it. It's a very magical thing. And when you drum for instance, at the retirement home, not old age home, at the retirement home, There's a woman that they bring in, and she's a regular, and she has Alzheimer's. And when they're bringing her in with her aide, you can see the lights are off, nobody's home. But once we start drumming, it's like magic. Bingo, the lights came on and somebody's there again. And she drums and it's great. And it's so, there's just so many, cousin Nora and friend Christine, I could go on for hours and hours and hours. But those are some of my observations. But also, I work with women in recovery from addiction as part of their therapy. They're using drumming for all sorts of things these days. Healing, we know it does heal you. And it's all about drumming, repetitive motions, and getting into the zone.
Can I ask you a quick question? Because I know we don't have you for a long time.
Sure, sure.
What is one of the most inspirational things that you've experienced from somebody drumming with you, or, you know, just a happenstance drumming, or whether it's lessons, or is there anything that stands out for you that just you would love to share?
Yeah, again, there's just
too many.
Nora, there's so many. I can tell you just that I always get a kick out of when somebody just gets it. Like when they're struggle at it, they're trying to wrap their head around something, and then they realize, and this is what I tell people when we're drumming, and especially adults, because adults are the worst. We got the most baggage. We're resistant. We have performance anxiety.
We have to do it right.
Yes, right. Exactly. So, but when I tell people this, and it's easy to say something like this, but it's not so easy to attain it. And I tell them, guys, keep your brain out of this. What we're going to do, we do, like when I do call and answer exercises, if you try to stop to think about what I just called for you to respond to, you'll never get it. You'll never get the timing. You have to just react. Your body knows what to do. We are rhythmical beings.
I was amazed watching you do that. And at one point, you must have called out like 9 different tick-a-tack kind of things. And I'm like, holy shit, I don't remember what he said. And these kids were all just doing it.
Yes.
And yeah, my brain was so in the way that I was happy I was only tapping on my table and no one could see me.
But see, you have to also not be afraid to screw it up. Right. And that's the thing. If you react, that's fine. Your body, after a little bit, you start to get acclimated to it, and it becomes natural. I had a woman in one of my classes. She said to me, I am from Holland. I have no rhythm. And I said, wait a minute, honey. I said, look, everybody's got rhythm. I said, if you don't enjoy what we do, you don't have to pay for the series of classes. I said, but everybody, we gestate in our mother's womb for 9 months and hear the best rhythm or drum you'll ever going to hear in your life. You hear that heartbeat, and then yours beats too. So I told her her rhythm wasn't nurtured. And I'll tell you what, she took my class, and by the end of the class, she struggled in the beginning. By the end of the class, she was doing everything that everybody else was doing. She just had to allow herself to.
Right.
So that's that.
Wonderful.
I don't know. What else can I tell you? I know I go off on tangents, cuz.
Oh, are you kidding me? I love hearing it. So we were talking about how it reduces the tension, anxiety, how it actually increases the cells, according to Dr. Bittman, the immune system cells that fight cancer. And Michael Thwart, who's also a doctor in music, was saying how it affects the entire brain. So it's really great to hear you saying a lot of what we were already talking about. Dr. Brian Quinn talking about the alpha brain. I'm not sure, Chris, you got any questions for Joey? I go to look online real quick. I was so busy listening to you, see if anyone has a question for you.
Joe, I got a question. It's Chris.
Sure.
I want to know about the rehab patients. Now, when you work with them, do you feel like you can get rid of their negativity, their blockages, their emotional traumas? Do you get them to work through that with drumming?
Yes. Now, especially the women in recovery that I work with from addictions, they, it's also what's amazing is I find that this population of people, of these ladies, are extremely talented, and a lot of them don't even know it. And I think one of the things also that I mean, it's kind of obvious when you look at the lives of many artists throughout history, they're often very self-destructive. Now, can imagine if that artist didn't even have the art to get out what they think of, and how more self-destructive. And a lot of these women I find are like that. Once they, you know, say, okay, we're here. Okay. A lot of times when I come in the first day, if it's a group I've never seen, they're like, oh, what is this shit we have to do? Oops. Sorry, I said that.
It's okay, honey. Don't worry about it.
They're like, oh, what is this we have to do? It's some other thing. They're making us jump through some hoop. But then once they start doing it, they really get into it. They start smiling. And talk about one of the things that somebody ever told me that was one of the coolest things was one of these ladies last year. We were drumming and we have fun and we're hooting and hollering. They're a really fun bunch. And then occasionally we would start dancing. And this one woman got up and started dancing. And after the end of our hooting and hollering, and she sat down, she was in tears. And she said, you know, this is the first time I've ever danced not high on something. And I was like, are you kidding me? I mean, that is just amazing. The first time in her life that she danced without having to have some kind of chemical. So that was an amazing story. So
that's wonderful. Now, do you see repetitive clients with the addictions, or does the drumming help them move those emotions and those blockages so they don't have to keep having reactive emotions, I guess is what I'm saying, or
I
come
think
back to the same problem?
Mm-hmm. I find that, first of all, when you're drumming and you're really drumming, like I said, and drumming for a period of time, 5 minutes up to 10 minutes or longer, you're forced to be in the present. Just the act of drumming, you have to be in the present. So you're not really thinking about all these other things, your anxiety. For that little bit of time, however fleeting it is, you are in the present moment, and little by little that increases. So yeah, and also we do a thing. I do this with kids too. It's a fun game where we pretend that they can't talk. They have no mouth, and they have to, whatever emotion maybe they felt during the day or experiencing now, be inspired by that emotion and play it. And then we all raise our hand and we try to guess what it was. And so that's really
wonderful.
It's a really cool fun, and they like it. They ask to do it again. You know what I mean? Like, you might think, oh, it's like a little kid thing. No, the adults love to do this. And
that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, it's cool because, you know, and then ultimately, usually we can guess the emotion. You can tell it comes out in the drumming.
That's amazing.
Anyway, listen, you guys, I love you. If you got a last question or something, but I do have to go.
All right, guys, remember, it's Joseph Tayoun, Tayoun. You can find him on Facebook. You can find him on YouTube. Even just Google him. You will be amazed at the information. Joey, thank you so much for your time and sharing the stories and helping us with tonight's show. You have a blessed night, babe.
Nora, thank you. God bless you. Christine, thank you. You guys are wonderful.
Thank you, Joe.
Keep it up.
Love it.
We will. Bye-bye.
Night.
All right, that was awesome. Thank you guys for allowing us to bring on our guest. And we had some really good questions, none for Joey, but a few popped up in the meantime. Melissa, is it best to be journeying outside? Actually, I never journey anywhere unless I'm laying in my bed. It's just, I want to be really comfortable. So I don't know if it's best. I wouldn't say it's best to be outside or inside. It's best to be where you are most comfortable. What would you say?
Where you feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
Because if your body doesn't feel safe, you won't be able to journey, because you'll feel like, oh my gosh, I can't leave. I got to guard the body. So you got to be somewhere with somebody or around a group of people that you feel like you'll be okay, because you're not going to be present in your body the whole time. You're going to be out trying to use all three figures to kind of wrap it in and pull it back down. And that's the purpose of you being there.
And let's be like perfectly clear. The first thing you do before you journey is
pray.
Say a prayer of protection. I mean, every time we meditate in the morning, there are 2 prayers of protection we say, and that's a simple meditation. journeying, you are going very deep. You are really moving forward into another realm. Prayer, honey. Prayer, 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 prayer. And preferably know your intuitive footprint for anger to keep you fully safe. I like Aaron. I agree with you. Those little bowls. If a
Oh, the
person's
singing
vibrating the
bowls.
bowl, it does not always work for me either. I prefer the drumming over them any day. She says it feels like chalk on a chalkboard because of her fibromyalgia. So I'm happy to say it doesn't feel that bad to me, but I don't enjoy, I like them sometimes, but
It has to be a really high quality bowl for
yeah,
me. And it has to be somebody who's spiritually using it, because otherwise it's just, I can't even get them to make the right noise. I
yeah,
have to go to the shaman and go, what did I do wrong? She's like, nothing.
I just don't buy them for the same reason. It's just not worth it. Okay, Shauna, I personally enjoyed the singing bowls and tuning forks. The vibrations are amazing. Well, that's because she's from Texas. You know, come on. No, I'm only teasing you, sweetie. That's great.
No,
Melissa,
if
go
it's
ahead.
somebody with a vibrational thing, they're great for people that receive vibrational. It's just like, what kind of learner are you? Are you a sight learner? Are you a sound learner? Do you have to write it out to be, or have it spoken to you? It just depends what kind of learner you are.
Chris always makes it so nice. Melissa agrees with Erin and me, though. She doesn't like the sound. We're
Some
being like,
people do and
I'm being
some
like a
people do.
baby. All right. So Rebecca, anybody have any questions? Throw them on in here. Let's see. Rebecca says most of us like natural, but natural versus synthetic drum. Humidity is not good on natural. Not sure if you mean the natural drums, like the
Yeah, the
skin of an
skin,
animal and stuff, and the
right.
humidity disturb. You wouldn't, I guess, learn how to care for it. I don't have my own drum. When I fool around with drumming, it's on the table. So I don't know the necessary cares for them. So let's see what else we have going on. Did I throw in any questions there, guys? And we are with you. But
No,
otherwise,
but I liked what Joseph was saying about how the heartbeat and the womb of the, you know, being in the womb, because that's exactly what the
what
American
shaman
Indian
said.
shaman said.
Yeah.
That's kind of what's bringing the alpha state on, saying, you know what you're doing. It's okay. Just relax.
And that was a beautiful way to get the Holland woman to recognize, like,
Reconnect.
yeah, to reconnect. I thought that was great because it was what you were already talking about. I also like how he said it helps so many of the emotional children,
Hmm.
and to be able to express the emotion in music. And I was trying to think to myself, how would I express what I'm feeling today? Using music, like using a drum, because it my emotion is like I mean, even if it was just say sadness, like how would you do that? It would be fun to experiment, and I might have to borrow one of his drums and fool around like that. I'll bring him over to
Well,
Chris's.
the other thing I was listening, I was trying to mouth to you while he was talking. He was talking about the crossover of the brain energy.
I know, crisscrossing.
Energy,
Donnie
energy
Eden's
medicine.
energy
I'm like,
medicine.
I'm
All
like,
about crossing over. She
right.
has you constantly crossing, 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 crossing. So I was thinking the same thing. Thank
And
you
I
for
was like,
remembering that.
we're going to have to do a chapter on that in our book. I have to remind Nora to make a note there.
Yeah, that is so true and so important to cross your energies. And basically that's what you're doing when you're drumming. And so he was talking, Joseph was talking about it enhancing the brain. Chris and I are talking about that enhances your energy field. So
Right.
it's a win-win. There's so much going on when you're doing drumming. Aaron, I used to destroy my paintings until I was forced to make a promise not to. Oh, she's replying to somebody, but okay, let's see. I think I know what she's talking about, but all right, Elena, she loves us both rock stars. Thank you, sweetheart. Renee, post his name so we can tune in later. Absolutely. I'm going to post Joey's name so you all know who we were talking to. Down on the bottom, Joseph Tayoun. And I'm actually going to,
Does he have a website, Nora?
well, he's got a Facebook page. I'm going to put his Facebook page there. Joseph Tayoun was our guest this evening, so you guys can find him. I think Joey has a website page. In fact, I'm 99% sure. I'm just not sure what it was called. So just Google him is your best way to find him. I meant to hands-on by doing. You guys are so funny when you make corrections. I'm like, I don't even know where the hell I'm at with this. So, did Chris get her site up yet? I'm looking for those stones. Chris's site has been up, but no, she hasn't put the stones or the little
Pendulums.
pendulums up
We
yet. I've been yelling at her. Chris's site is christinegerganis.com. If you have trouble spelling her name, it's right under her picture, Gurganus. And while we're plugging Chris, my website is intuition.com. Might as well plug us both.
Well, let me explain what's going on. I'm just kind of like a little fussy that everything go up correctly. I know Nora's going to tell me it's my problem, not everybody else's. But I want to make sure that there's descriptions of everything neatly and that when they load the pictures, everything looks perfect. And yes,
Now, don't you guys just want a couple pendulums so you can get started and a few crystals? She's waiting to have everything perfect. Get a few up there right away so people can have them and start practicing and enjoying them.
we're loading them. And then I have to get IT to load them to the page. See, she's going to die waiting for me to load everything. That's what she's trying to tell you all.
Oh, no, it's all good. All right, Andrea, I think I will try it for my little girl because she was always being very sensitive and emotional. Yeah, get her a little drum. You know, you don't have to buy something expensive. Joey has these drumming events. Oh, guys, like them on Facebook and check out the events. You don't have to bring a drum. The guy has like a truckload of drums and he just passes them out. And they don't have to be fancy drums. They can
They're
be
not.
simple
I've seen some of
flavors.
his drums, but they're fun to play with.
Exactly. It's just so yeah, absolutely. Andrea, get one for your little girl and get one for yourself. And the two of you sit there and just beat together. And then try what Joey said. Um, doing a beat and having her repeat it. Do you do one? She does one. She repeats, and then you both do them together. And when you do it together long enough, your hearts start to beat together. You know, it is beautiful, and that's really when you go on group journeying, where like there's more than one person journeying with you. That's what's going on. Your mind and your hearts are connected, and when you come out of that journey that you do with another person, you're both explaining the same things. It's amazing because I've done that once, and it was absolutely blew me away. What I saw, the person saw, and it's because our brains were connecting, not just our hearts, as we moved forward. It's just I'm so
It's a
glad he brought
spiritual
that up.
journey.
It really is. Someday I need to teach you how to paint emotionally, Owen says. Okay, Owen, I'm all for that. I want to paint that includes, a painting class, painting with fingers, because put a brush in my hand and it's ugly. Shauna, I'm also a hands-on learner. I do my listening. Alrighty, guys, let's have a couple questions here. Anybody? Let me see what's going on. I don't have trouble spelling, just saying it. Oh my God, I'm dying laughing, Nora. I have no idea. She liked my violin. All right, a little bit more about drumming, and I wanted to share an actual journey that I went on once, and it was a soul retrieval. Now, the interesting part about soul retrieval when you're journeying is you're going back to retrieve a piece of you that you left in your past, usually due to something traumatic happening. So, I've mentioned before, I had an older brother who died when I was only like a year and a half old. So I always thought, well, it really made no difference in my life because I didn't quite know him. And by the time you reach a certain age, whatever memory you had goes. But truthfully, that altered my entire life. I mean, my parents, my other sister, how much everything changed. So a piece of me was left. And when I had that opportunity to go back and find that piece, it felt like I was bringing an infant almost, even though I wasn't an infant at the time, back to the whole. You don't realize that a piece is missing until you bring it back in. And there's loads of books on regression therapy, going back and, you know, making peace with your past child. And journeying, shamanic journeying is a very powerful technique that you can use. I mean, I often have people use meditation, um, but I have done it with journeying and I found it amazing, absolutely amazing.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it also can just be fun. I mean, the first few times I did it just for the fun of it. One time to discover who my animal was, my animal guide was. And like Chris's is a dolphin, I journeyed to discover who mine's was. And they say you should journey at least 3 times because the animal should appear a minimum of 3 times before you know for sure it's your
Spirit
totem.
animal.
Totem is what they
Yeah,
call
totem.
totem. And I never did. I journeyed once just out of curiosity. I didn't keep going back because, hey, whatever it is, it's probably something meek and mild because I'm not. And it's trying to get me to be quiet. It ain't gonna happen. So, Andrea, glad you like that idea. Let us know how it goes with the with you and the baby doing that. Elena's out of range. um, Aaron says we have more than one animal guide. That's interesting. I mean, I know we definitely have more than one spiritual guide. Um, Angels, guarding angels, and then just family members and guides like that. So, if we are, what exactly is journeying? Great question, Christina. Do you want to take that, Chris, or would you like me to? What exactly is journeying?
Journeying is a reduced state of meta. It's a metabolic state where you release and you let your brain waves calm down and you go into almost like, it's not a meditative state exactly, but it is meditative. You're still more conscious of what's going on around you, whereas in a journeying, you're just focused on the beat of the drum and you're just allowing your heart, body, mind, soul, and spirit to focus on the one question or the one purpose you had, because the reason for a journey is to get that purpose fulfilled. So when you get done that, when you keep just focusing on it and focusing on it and focusing on it and praying in your head while you're doing that, you'll start to see different things. And like Nora said, it'll show you over a period. It might feel like you just went down and it could be 25, 30 minutes later. And it's like, hold on, I'm not done yet. Like they're still talking to me and they're pulling you out and they're telling you to come back into your body. You're like, hello, I'm still having a conversation here. And the one shaman's like, that's nice, Chris, come on, back down. And they'll start bringing your energy back down and into your body to process everything. And the journey is very thought-provoking because sometimes they'll tell you exactly what you need to know, and other times they'll leave you with what you need to know and then a few little, I call them crumbs, because the crumbs are like, this is the root of the problem, but you've got like these 3 other things that could be connected. So then I'm like, so we're not done yet? And they're like, no, you're the one with crumbs on the table, not us. So then I go, okay, to the shaman, how do I get rid of the crumbs? Where's the little sweeper? She's like, it's inside of you and you have to figure out how to sweep it up. I'm like, oh geez, Joy. Okay, when's our next session? Like, should we schedule it now? And usually they'll tell you, when you're allowed to schedule it. A true shaman will let you process what you did and then they'll check on you maybe a week later, or they'll have you text them or call them or something, just to let them know how you're working it out. And then they'll give you another time and date.
Christine wants to know, do you need a shaman to do this? No, you can use really good CDs and stuff, but you're just starting out. If you could have a shaman, it is an awesome experience.
It's a lot easier because then they're seeing what you're seeing and they're visualizing what you're visualizing.
And you're not inside of it alone because it is more detailed, more real than a dream. And that can be a little discombobulating. Like all of a sudden you're inside of this tree and you're traveling through roots, or you're moving up into leaves, and
Right.
it is really amazing. But no, you do not have to. There are really awesome available stuff online. And like Chris said, use some of the intuitive stuff we've taught you previously about, yes, this is a good CD for me, or no, it's not. And you can find out, but make sure you say a prayer before you do those intuitive tests.
And just keep in mind, it depends how advanced each person is. And are you going to get freaked out and stuck in this drumming session? Or do you need just like a gentle tug of somebody to pull you back in?
Which is
Because
why
like me, I'm like, hey, I'm having fun, you can go away now. I'm still talking here. And time is like, there is no time when you're doing that. You don't feel like you've been down for very long. But then again, when I go to the healing shamans, 2 hours seems like 5 minutes, and
oh
I'm
yeah, I
like,
know.
what are you waking me up for? I was just starting to get my happy on.
You go to Elena
Session's over,
Coloroco,
Chris.
and it's like you had anesthesia for surgery.
Oh yeah, but it's
You go
best stuff
so
you ever
deep.
had.
You get up, it's like, I can't believe that it's over. But I have done drumming on my own. I have used excellent CDs, like I said earlier, and but that was only after enough experience that I knew what my limits were. There were places I would not cross into because I just didn't feel I had the knowledge to go on my own at the time I was doing it. Now, because I'm very comfortable with the intuitive footprint, I know when something out there is dangerous and I should avoid it or is evil, I would go further. And in fact, because of this conversation, I might be digging through some boxes trying to find my old disc. Of course, I'm a little bit curious about the animal. I kind of think it was the fox, but I'm not even sure. Melissa she has several animal totems, her main one being a great blue heron. Love that. Renee's is a bear. Worf, of course, you could journey like Worf in Star Trek, who tried to kill his totem. Only Aaron would bring up that Worf tried to kill his totem and Star Trek.
Thanks, Aaron.
Oh, so anyway, in all reality, a really good shaman. I don't believe Elena does any kind of drumming, but for healing, out of this world, and definitely worth a trip. So let's see, we have only 10 minutes left, guys, so feel free
Well,
to
is
jump in.
Dave Dave still on the feed over there, Nora? I can't see it because I don't have the feed up.
I don't know if he signed out. Dave, are you there? Chris would like to know. What's the question? And we'll see if
Well,
we can.
because he used to have a drumming circle in Delaware Valley that he went to at a
Oh, yeah.
church, and he really enjoyed it.
Oh, we'd
And
love
I'm
to do
wondering if
something.
he still has that for the local people. Maybe they could get involved there.
Oh, that's a beautiful idea. So, Dave, if you're on, please throw that information up for us. I know he was on earlier. I can't tell. I can't tell from. I don't know why Facebook like shows it, doesn't show it, that kind of thing. We live and learn. There is also a store in Media called Seven Stones.
Hmm.
Now, I don't know if they still do it, but a few years ago, they have a drumming circle once a week. That was really nice. I went there once, and the drummer that they had in there was fabulous, absolutely fabulous. And when you're drumming with a group of people that you don't know, you're just sitting there to experience the drums, you still make sure you say a prayer because you don't want to be picking up somebody else's junk. So, where do you go to see a shaman? Melissa wants to know. Do you Google shaman? How did you find yours, Chris?
Um, well, it was part of the metaphysical circle of people that we have in our area. And one of our other clients that is on Facebook here, um, she knew of them. And I met one of the shamans that's training to be a shaman through her. We have Elena. I talked to the Indian chief. So it's like for me, I'm all surrounded. Plus, I have an Indian chief and a tribe that's out in Arizona. It's on the Arizona, California area. And I worked with them to do a workshop on meditation for 7 days. And we literally sat on Red Rock Canyon for 7 days and did nothing but meditate. We meditated to drums, we meditated to energy, we meditated and we meditated and we meditated and played with rocks for 7 days. I don't even remember, we were so high, I don't even know if we ate that week. So all I knew is we had to get on a plane at a certain point and they took us back to the airport and literally dropped us off. I don't know if we smelled, I don't remember how much we ate, but we had a ball. So all I remember is thinking, I don't want to go home. I want to go play with my new
I
friends.
wouldn't want to go home either. Melissa, I know a couple shamans. A way of finding out some is also to call the ARE, the Edgar Casey Association in Virginia Beach. They do have people who are shamans that they know there. I'm in the Philadelphia area. I know a man. I have not had the opportunity to work with him, but from what I read off of him, his energy, I would be very comfortable with him. I can ask him for you if you'd like. Just message me and give me some time because next week there will not be a show. I will be away. I will be in New York for a week. So,
Yay!
yay! Yes, I am going to be talking to producers about Chris and I, and we need prayers.
Lots of
Okay,
them.
guys, lots of them. Pray, 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 pray. Because I have the opportunity to speak with a whole bunch of different New York producers, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox. It's like speed dating. I get literally, I get a minute and a half with these people, one on one, and they are seeing like there's going to be like 100 people there. So I have to make a really good impression in a minute and a half. So pray, 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 because we would love to take our little show up and out there. We think it's so important that people understand there's not just good in the world, but there is evil. And it is our mission to get that out there. Producers, yes, ma'am, producers. So we need lots of prayers. Um, so anyway, so back to the question, Melissa, please just message me, but know that next week and the rest of this week, I'm going to be half focused because I'm getting ready for New York. next week I'll be there, and then upon returning, I'll be recouping and trying to do everything that I was supposed to do for it. So, but I will find the man. I know where he's at. I will talk to him and see if he's taking on people. A lot of times they don't want to take on new people. They have so many disciples. They don't want to stretch themselves thin. They want to do a good job. So I'll find out for you. Just like I said, have patience. Okay, Aaron, I have a family totem, a wolf, a mountain lion, a huge grizzly, and a red-tailed hawk. That sounds nice.
Red-tailed hawk is very popular.
She goes, Chris is a psychic. She knows everyone. Winks jokingly. She's, all right, guys. We are going to be wrapping it up, but we want tickets. I don't know what you mean.
They want tickets for the show.
Oh, no, it's not a show. These are like auditions. They're like auditions. They're like speed dating. So, yeah, please send us. Thank you. I appreciate everybody who's saying they will send prayers, because it's really kind of nerve-wracking. I'm going to be standing in front of the person who produces The View, and I get a minute and a half to wow her. Wow. It'll be fun. If nothing else, we're going to do great. So, if there's no other questions, Chris, you good?
I'm good, girlfriend.
All right, guys, we love you. We will not see you next week. There will not be meditations next week either. I will put up a notice to that effect. So on my morning, guys, I hope to see you the following week. Love you all. Thank you so, so much for joining us. Have a great and blessed night.
Take care.
Bye now.
Bye.